Buried Giant, Chapter 5, Part 3. As I said before, sir, they've given to us by debtors, in place of corn and tin. They'll work a year to pay their family's debt. Sure you're not mistaken, uncle? I know not whom you seek, sir, but it wouldn't be these poor Saxons, and while you spend your time with us, your enemies move freely elsewhere. The soldier gave this consideration. Axel's voice had carried unexpected authority, uncertainty entering his manner. Sir Gawain, he asked, what do you know of these people? They chanced on us as Horace and I rested here. I believe them to be simple creatures. The soldier once more scrutinized Wiston's features. A mute fool, is it? He took 2 steps forward and raised the sword so the point was aimed at Wiston's throat. But he surely fears death like the rest of us. Axel saw that for the first time the soldier had made an error. He had come too close to his opponent, and although it would be a hideous risk, it was now conceivable for Wiston to move very suddenly and seize the arm holding the sword before it could strike. Wiston, however, went on giggling, then smiled foolishly as Edwin beside him. This last action, however, seemed to arouse Sir Gawain's anger. They may be strangers to me only an hour ago, sir, he boomed, but I'll not see them treated with rudeness. This doesn't concern you, Sir Gawain. I would ask you to remain silent. Do you dare speak to a knight of Arthur that way, sir? Can it be possible, the soldier said, completely ignoring Sir Gawain. This idiot here is a warrior disguised. With no weapon about him, it makes little difference. Mine's a blade sharp enough, whichever he may be. How dare he, Sir Gawain muttered to himself. The gray-haired soldier, perhaps suddenly realizing his error, took 2 paces back till he was exactly where he had been before, and lowered the sword to his waist height. Boy, he said, step forward to me. He speaks only Saxon tongue, sir, and a shy boy too, Axel said. He didn't speak, uncle, only raise his shirt, and we'll know if he's the one that left the village with the warrior. Boy, a step closer to me. As Edwin came nearer, the soldier reached out with his free hand. A tussle ensued as Edwin tried to fight him off, but the shirt was soon dragged up the boy's torso, and Axel saw, a little way below the ribs, a swollen patch of skin encircled by tiny dots of dried blood. On either side of him, Beatrice and Gawain were now leaning forward to see better, but the soldier himself, reluctant to take his gaze off Wiston, did not glance at the wound for some time. When finally he did so, he was obliged to make a swift turn of his head, and at that very moment Edwin produced a piercing, high-pitched noise, not a scream exactly, but something that reminded Axel of a forlorn fox. The soldier was for an instant distracted by it, and Edwin seized the chance to break from his grasp. Only then did Axel realize the noise was coming not from the boy, but from Wiston, and that in response the warrior's mare, until then languidly munching the ground, had suddenly turned and was charging straight for them. The soldier's own horse had made a panicked motion behind him, causing him further confusion, and by the time he had recovered, Wiston had gone clear of the sword's reach. The mare kept coming at daunting speed, and Wiston, feigning away one way, then moving the other, produced another shrill call. The mare slowed to a canter, bringing herself between Wiston and his opponent, enabling the warrior, in an almost leisurely manner, to take up a position several strides from the oak. The mare turned again, moving smartly in pursuit of her master. Axel supposed Wiston's intention was to mount the animal as she came past, for the warrior was now waiting, both arms poised in the air. Axel even saw him reach toward the saddle just before the mare momentarily obscured him from view. But then the horse cantered on riderless towards the spot where so recently she had been enjoying the grass. Wiston had remained standing quite still, but now with a sword in his hand. A small exclamation escaped Beatrice, and Axel, placing an arm around her, drew her closer. On his other side, Gawain made a grunting noise which seemed to signify his appreciation of Wiston's maneuver. The old knight had placed a foot up on one of the raised roots of the oak and was watching with keen interest, a hand on his knee. The gray-haired soldier's back was now turned to them. In this, of course, he had but little choice, for he had now to face Wiston. Axel was surprised to see that this soldier, so controlled and expert only a moment ago, had become quite disoriented. He was looking towards his horse, which had trotted some way away in panic, as though for reassurance, and then raised his sword, the tip just above the level of his shoulder, gripping tightly with both hands. This posture, Axel knew, was premature, and would only exhaust his arm muscles. Wiston, in contrast, looked calm, almost nonchalant, just as he had done the previous night when they had first glimpsed him setting off out of the village. He came slowly towards the soldier, stopping a few steps before him, sword held low in just one hand. "Sir Gawain," the soldier said, a new note in his voice, "I hear you move at my back. Do you stand with me or against this foe?" "I stand here to protect this good couple, sir. Otherwise this dispute is not my concern, as you so lately reported. This warrior may be your foe, but he isn't mine yet. This fellow's a Saxon warrior, Sir Gawain, and here to do us mischief. Help me face him, for though I'm keen to do my duty, if this is the man we seek, he's a fearful fellow by all accounts. What reason have I to take arms against a man simply for being a stranger? It's you, sir, came into this tranquil place with your rude manners." There was silence for a while, and then the soldier said to Wiston, "Do you stay mute, sir, or will you reveal yourself now that we face one another?" "I'm Wiston, sir, a warrior from the east, visiting this country. It seems your Lord Brennus would have me hurt, though for what reason I know not, since I travel in peace on an errand for my king. And it's my belief you mean to harm that innocent boy, and seeing this, I must now frustrate you." "Sir Gawain," the soldier cried, "will you come to the aid of a fellow Briton? I ask you once again, if this is Wiston, it's said more than 50 sea raiders have fallen by his hand alone. If 50 fierce raiders have fell to him, what difference can one old weary knight make to the outcome now, sir? I beg you, do not jest, Sir Gawain. This is a wild fellow, and he'll strike at any moment. I see it in his eye. He's here to do us all mischief, I tell you." "Name the mischief I bring," Wiston said. "Traveling peacefully through your country, a single sword in my pack to defend against wild creatures and bandits. If you can name my crime, do so now, for I'd hear the charge before I strike you." "I'm ignorant of the nature of your mischief, sir, but have faith enough in Lord Brennus's desire to be free of you." "No charge to name, then? Yet you hurry here to slay me? Sir Gawain, I beg your help. You help me. Fierce as he is, the two of us with careful strategy might overcome him." "Sir, let me remind you, I'm a knight of Arthur, no foot soldier of your Lord Brennus. I don't take up arms against strangers on rumor or for their foreign blood, and it seems to me you're unable to give good cause for taking against him." "You force me to speak then, sir, though these are confidences to which a man of my humble rank has no right, even if Lord Brennus himself let me hear them. This man is come to this country on a mission to slay the dragon Carrig. This is what brings him here." "Slay Carrig?" Sir Gawain sounded genuinely dumbfounded. He strode forward from the tree and stared at Wiston as if seeing him for the first time. "Is this true, sir?" "I've no wish to lie to a knight of Arthur, so let me declare it. Further to my duty reported earlier, I've been charged by my king to slay the she-dragon that roams this country. But what objection could there be to such a task? A fierce dragon bringing danger to all alike? Tell me, soldier, why is it such a mission makes me your enemy?" "Slay Carrig? You really mean to slay Carrig?" Sir Gawain was now shouting. "But, sir, this is a mission entrusted to me. Do you not know this? A mission entrusted to me by Arthur himself." "A dispute for some other time, Sir Gawain. Let me first attend to this soldier, who would make an enemy of me and my friends when we would go by in peace." "Sir Gawain, you'll not come to my aid. I fear this is my final hour. I implore you, sir, remember the affection Lord Brennus has for Arthur and his memory, and take arms against this Saxon." "It is my duty to slay Carrig, Master Wiston. Horse and I have laid careful plans to lure her out, and we seek no assistance." "Lay down your sword, sir," Wiston said to the soldier, "and I may spare you yet. Otherwise, end your life on this ground." The soldier hesitated, but then said, "I see now I was foolish to suppose myself strong enough to take you on alone, sir. I may be punished yet for my vanity, but I won't now lay down my sword like a coward." "By what right," Sir Gawain cried, "does your king order you to come from another country and usurp the duties given to a knight of Arthur?" "Forgive me, Sir Gawain, but it's many years you've had to slay Carrig, and small children have become grown men in that time. If I can do this country a service and rid it of this scourge, why be angry?" "Why be angry, sir? You know not what you're about. You think it's an easy matter to slay Carrig? She's as wise as she is fierce. You'll only anger her with your foolishness, and this whole country will need suffer her wrath, where we're hardly heard a thing of her these past several years. It requires the most delicate handling, sir, or a calamity will befall the innocent right across this country. Why do you suppose Horace and I have so bided our time? One misstep will have grave consequences, sir. Then help me, Sir Gawain, the soldier shouted, now making no effort to hide his fear. Let's together put out this menace. Sir Gawain looked at the soldier with a puzzled air, as if he had forgotten for the moment who he was. Then he said in a calmer voice, I'll not aid you, sir. I'm no friend of your master, for I fear his dark motives. I fear, too, the harm you intend to these others here, who must be innocents in whatever intrigue enfolds us. Sir Gawain, I hang here between life and death as a fly caught in a web. I make my last appeal to you, and though I don't understand the full part of this matter, I beg you consider why he comes to our country, if not to do us mischief. He gives good account of his errand here, sir, and though he angers me with his careless plans, it's hardly reason to join you in arms against him. Fight now, soldier, Wiston said, his tone almost conciliatory. Fight and be done with it. Will it do harm, Master Wiston, Beatrice said suddenly, to let this soldier surrender his sword and ride away? He spoke kindly to me before on the bridge, and perhaps he's not a bad man. If I do as you ask, Mistress Beatrice, he'll take news back to us and surely return before long with 30 or more soldiers. There'll be a little mercy shown then. And mark you, he means sinister harm to the boy. Perhaps he would willingly swear an oath not to betray us. Your kindness touches me, mistress, the gray-haired soldier intervened, never taking eyes off of Wiston. But I'm no scoundrel and won't take rude advantage of it. What the Saxon says is true. Spare me, and I'll do just as he says, for duty allows me no other course. Yet I thank you for your gentle words, and if these are to be my last moments, then I'll leave this world a little more peacefully for them. What's more, sir, Beatrice said, I've not forgotten your early request concerning your mother and father. You made it then in jest, I know, and it's not likely we'll encounter them, but if ever we do so, they'll know of you how you waited with longing to see them again. I thank you once more, mistress, but this is no time for me to soften my heart with such thoughts. Fortune may favor me yet in this contest, no matter this man's reputation, and then you may regret you ever wished me kindness. Most likely so, Beatrice said and sighed. Then, Master Wiston, you must do your best for us. I'll look away, for I take no pleasure in slaughter, and I bid you tell young Master Edwin to do the same, for I'm sure he'll only heed you if you command it. Pardon me, Mistress, Wiston said, but I would that the boy witness all that unfolds, just as I was often made to do it at his age. I know he'll not flinch or retch to witness the ways of warriors. He now spoke several sentences in Saxon, and Edwin, who had been standing by himself a short way away, walked over to the tree and stood beside Axel and Beatrice. His eyes watchful, seemed never to blink. Axel could hear the gray-haired soldier's breathing, more audible now because the man was releasing a low growl with each breath. When he charged forwards, he did so with his sword high above his head in what seemed an unsophisticated, even suicidal attack. But just before he reached Wiston, he abruptly altered his trajectory and feinted to his left, his sword lowered to his hip. The gray-haired soldier, Axel understood with a twinge of pity, knowing he stood little chance should the combat mature, had wagered everything on this one desperate ploy. But Wiston had anticipated it, or perhaps it was that his instincts were enough. The Saxon sidestepped neatly, drew his own sword across the oncoming man in a single, simple movement. The soldier let out a sound such as a bucket makes when dropped into a well. It first strikes the water. He then fell forward onto the ground. Sir Gawain muttered a prayer, and Beatrice asked, "Is it done now, Axel?" "It's done, Princess." Edwin was staring at the fallen man, his expression barely changed from before. Following the boy's gaze, Axel saw that a serpent, disturbed in the grass by the soldier's fall, was now sliding out from under the body. Though dark, the creature was mottled with yellows and whites as it revealed more of itself, traveling swiftly across the ground. Axel caught the powerful odor of a man's insides. He instinctively stepped to one side, moving Beatrice with him in case the creature should come searching for their feet. Still, it kept coming their way, parting in two around a clump of thistle, as a stream might part around a rock, before becoming one again and continuing, coming ever closer. "Come away, princess," Axel said, leading her. "It's done, and it's as well. This man meant us harm, though the reasons are still not clear." "Let me enlighten you as far as I can, Master Axel," Wiston said. He had been cleaning his sword on the ground, but now rose and came towards him. "It's true our Saxon kin in this country live in good harmony with your people, but we've reports at home of Lord Brennus's ambitions to conquer this land for himself and make war on all Saxons now living in it." "I hear the same reports, Sir Gawain said. "It was another reason I wouldn't side with this wretch now gutted like a trout. I fear this Lord Brennus is one who would undo the great peace won by Arthur." "We at home hear more, sir," said Wiston, "that Brennus entertains in his castle a dangerous guest, a sea raider said to possess the wisdom to tame dragons. It's my king's fear that Lord Brennus means to capture Carrig, to fight in the ranks of his army. This she-dragon would then make a fierce soldier indeed, and Brennus would then rightly harbor ambition. It's for this that I'm sent to destroy the dragon before her savagery turns on all who oppose Lord Brennus. Sir Gawain, you look aghast, but I speak sincerely." "If I'm aghast, sir, it's because there's a sound ring to your words. When I was a young man, I once faced a dragon in an opposing army, and a fearful thing it was. My comrades, hungry for victory the moment before, froze for fear at the sight. And this is a creature not half the equal of Carrig. It might, or in cunning. If Carrig is made a servant of Lord Brennus, it will surely tempt new wars. Yet it's my hope that she's too wild to be tamed by any man." He paused, looked towards the fallen soldier, and shook his head. Wiston strode over to where Edwin was standing, and grasping the boy by the arm, began gently to lead him towards the corpse. Then for a little while the two of them stood side by side over the soldier, Wiston talking quietly, pointing occasionally, and looking into Edwin's face to check the response. At one stage Axel saw Wiston's face trace a smooth line through the air, as perhaps he explained to the boy the journey made by his blade. All the while Edwin went on gazing blankly at the fallen man. Sir Gawain, appearing now at Axel's side, said, "It's a great sadness this tranquil spot, surely a gift from God to all weary travelers, is now polluted by blood. Let's bury this man quickly before anyone else comes this way, and I'll take his horse to Lord Brennus's camp, together with news of how I came upon him attacked by bandits, and where his friends may find his grave. Meanwhile, sir," he turned toward Wiston, "I urge you to return straight away to the east. Think no more of Carrig, for you can be assured Horace and I, hearing all we have today, will redouble our efforts to slay her. Now come, friends, let's put this man in the earth that he may return to his Maker peacefully."